All right, Schlockmeisters fans, not real good box art here because it's from the 50 Chilling Movie Classics thing. This thing's called Scream Bloody Murder. It was the first film filmed in gore-nography. Let's check it out. This little boy is named Matthew. This is Matthew accidentally running over, I believe, his father. And then when he tries to jump off, himself. All of that craziness sends Matthew to the hospital for many years.
He's been a real savior to me.
Notice he's missing a hand. Anyway, Matthew's going to be coming home soon to find that his mother on the right there is remarried to a Mr. Parsons.
You gonna carry her over the threshold, Matt?
Speaking of Matthew.
Matthew?
When'd you get home, son?
Don't you call me son.
You didn't tell me you were coming home. We would have...
I'm home now, Mom.
Oh, and I'm glad too, son. Only you frightened us standing there like you were with
You
us.
wouldn't have got married, Mom.
Matthew, he...
Matthew's not too fond of his new daddy. And he makes him pay for it immediately.
You?
Listen to me, please.
Please, somebody help me, help me,
No,
please.
Mama, no.
Please, don't hurt me.
Well, he ends up choking his mama to death, too. Or I should say banging her head in a rock. Either way, dead. Now a double murderer, he has to hitch a ride out of town.
Not sure what you mean.
He's the first person who knows about you and me getting married.
The married couple he's hitching with stops to take a swim, and he keeps seeing nightmares of his mom and stepdad. He starts chucking rocks at him, and then he hooks the dude and beats him to death. Takes care of her too. A little while later, he runs into a woman named Vera. Vera is an aspiring painter slash prostitute.
Tell me what it looks like to you. Oh, go on. You won't hurt my feelings. Paintings like these can be anything you want them to be.
What's that?
Help yourself.
Don't go in there. Don't go in there, please.
Hey, don't ever tell me what I can do.
Later on, some point after the tryst, he follows the sailor.
Kid. Hey, kid, your friend Vera, she's pretty hot stuff.
And the hook comes out.
Oh, you little mother.
Later on, he goes back to Vera's.
We live in a big mansion with servants. You'd never need to take money from anybody else again except me.
Look, I've heard every line in the world a dozen times each, especially that one.
But
You want to stay my friend?
Yes, I do.
Just don't have me any bull.
Now here he goes knocking on a rich person's
Well, I
door.
knocked on a few houses. Some were nobody home. Others wouldn't listen to me. I guess because the way I look.
Sorry, lady. I need the house.
He cons his way in and immediately kills the housekeeper. The only other resident there is a little old lady who will not go down without a fight, I assure you. But he's able to quickly dispatch the old lady. And then there's the poor dog of the house. He then picks up Vera and brings her back to his
I'm an
house.
amateur painter who turns tricks to make the rent. That's where I belong.
No, you don't. You're better than that.
Things go sour when he tries to hold her there, and she takes a tumble.
No! Well, who else ever bought you a steak before?
But when she comes to, she finds herself
Nobody, that's who.
kidnapped.
And paints and an easel. An easel. How do you like that? There's more damn stuff here than you've ever seen in your life.
At one point, he haphazardly left her tied to a chair, and she takes a thump.
Alan and Jess take a hilarious look at the world of fashion. That's right after the 11 o'clock news. The
Operator, may I help you?
Oh, yes. Please. Help me, please.
This is the operator. May I help you, please?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Help me.
What is the trouble, please?
Busted. he forces her to paint.
Had an easel.
Well, I bet you can paint very nice pictures with an easel. All you gotta do is try, Daisy. Try.
Yeah, her name is Daisy, but she goes by Vera.
Oh, who is she?
Phantasm fans might recognize a
I'm
big
her nephew.
visit from the tall
You've
man.
never mentioned a nephew to me, son. No.
Doctor, the old lady who lives there.
East.
Lived.
What the hell are you talking about?
He suspects something's wrong and sneaks into the house, finds the two dead people as well as Daisy. And that's the end of the tall man. No real nudity here, but it does tease you with a little side boob action, a couple of shots there.
God damn you.
When she demands to take a shower, she decides to use some of her feminine charms.
With me, Matthew.
I don't care about those other men.
Wouldn't you like to make love with me, Matthew? Haven't you ever made love, Matthew? Huh? Matthew, yes.
And the night nurse come out.
You become. What's the matter, Matthew? Why don't you stay there? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Matthew.
She's able to get away from him, but not far enough. Now he's got nobody left again, except the ghost of his mother. He's home, but can't flee the ghost. He can steal a car, though. He ends up in a church where apparently he gets attacked by all the ghosts. Because then he takes care of himself. That's our film. All right. Let's talk about this movie, Scream Bloody Murder. I don't have this on an individual DVD. It might be available on an individual DVD. It's usually found on these compilation ones like this 50 movie pack chilling classics here. It's in the public domain, I believe. Actually, I'm not sure about that. VCI might own it, but my fellow Schlockmeister brother, Jeff, reached out to them on social media once, and I think they told him they just don't have a good copy of this movie to make a Blu-ray of, so maybe it's lost, who knows? But it is available on several compilations out there, and you can find this grimy copy if you look not too hard. Anyway, this is a movie that I saw back in the 80s. I taped it back in the 80s, had it on a TDK tape with Crypt of the Living Dead and one other movie. I can't remember what, but it's a movie that used to appear at the end of other tapes that I would rent. It was a bunch of trailers at the end of the tapes, and Scream Bloody Murder was on a lot of them. And I remember the trailer was bragging about it's the first motion picture filmed in gore-nography. Gore-nography. And they'd show the scene with him killing the woman in the kitchen with the butcher knife. And his hook hand, of course. We got a kid here named Matthew. Matthew hops up on this tractor when he's maybe 9 years old and runs over his father accidentally. I think it was accidentally anyway. Kills him. And then he tries to jump off the tractor, and somehow the tractor ends up running over his hand in the process, and he loses his hand, and he has a hook hand for the rest of the movie. Anyway, that little trick put him in the hospital for several years, mental hospital/hospital for his missing hand. And when he gets out, he finds that his mom has remarried. In fact, she remarried like the day he gets out. He's not happy about his new stepdad, and that night he kills his stepdad. He kills him out in the woods, and then his mom shows up. He's like, "What did you do? What did you do?" She's like, "I didn't want him touching you." And she's like, "I wanted him to touch me." And then he kills his mom, bangs her head against a rock, and she's dead. So then he hitches a ride out of town, ends up with this newly married couple again. They stop by a stream to take a little swim. They try to encourage him to come in. He sees visions of his mother in this couple, mother and stepdad, and he starts chucking rocks at him, and then he kills the dude, and then he kills the girl too. So he's just nuts in the head. He runs into this other woman named Vera, also known by Daisy. She is a prostitute/painter. She paints little things, and then on the side to pay for her rent, she takes care of some men. Well, Michael's really weird about sex, of course, and he doesn't want her doing this. And he says, "Come live with me. I live in a mansion." She's like, buddy, I've heard all the lines before. So he decides, you know what? It's not a line. I'll get her mansion. So he goes, knocks on the door of a mansion, cons his way in, kills the housekeeper, kills the old lady upstairs, even kills the dog. And then he steals the car and goes back to Vera's and say, "Come with me. I'm going to show you my house." So she comes and she visits his house. It's like, wow, you really do have a mansion. Well, then he kidnaps her after she falls down the stairs, ties her up, leaves her there, then buys her steak, buys her an easel so she can paint, and basically keeps her prisoner. And she doesn't want to be there, but she has no choice. Well, eventually she starts using her feminine charms to try to tease him, to see if she'll let him go. It doesn't work. She ends up running away from him, but he catches her, kills her, and that's the end of her. Then he flees the house, ends up in a church where all the ghosts of all the people he killed are now coming after them, although it's in his head. And then he ends up, I think he's like trying to slice away at them with his hook hand at the ghost, but he ends up slicing his belly open and he eviscerates himself. And that's how our movie ends. Scream bloody murder in gore-nography. So, is the movie any good? Not really. It's a grimy, dirty 70s charming little film. That's about it. It's a pretty quick film, like an hour and 22 minutes or so. But again, it has some nostalgia for me because I saw the ad over and over and over again. It wasn't as bloody as the ad made it out to be, but it had a couple of decent scenes. No real nudity in this movie. A little bit of side boob on the main actress there who did one or two other things. I think she actually got into some... she got some behind the scenes work in films. She only acted like 2 or 3 things. Matthew didn't do anything else. The actor who played him, he's now deceased. And the director, I think this was his only film too. So I don't know where this thing was shot. It looked like maybe Southern California or somewhere, but it's just like a one-shot deal for a lot of these people, and then it's gone. But we have it saved forever on compilation DVDs. Scream Bloody Murder. Check it out. I'm curious if anybody has seen this thing. I bet you a few of you have. Leave some comments. It's Scream Bloody Murder. Watch it. Bye.